So I'm adding these half moon kind of shapes all around my tile. Just as we do for the Tangle Crescentmoon. Yeah. And we are going to ink it because we want that drama. So take your time, slowly go to each. You can use a bolder pen and just ink these moons. You want, you can add something else inside these crescent shapes. Entirely up to you. I'm just going to ink them slowly. Take your time. Go to each. Almost finishing inking my moons. Yeah. So once we are done with that, I think some of them are a little smaller. They can be bigger in size. It's not necessary that all of them should be of the same size, but just trying to make them a little more prominent by making big ones. And then I'm just going to start to add auras. Yeah. So as we do for crescent moon, generally one aura to all. So keep rotating your tile and slowly add an aura. Yeah. So I'm going to add one more layer first before we start to introduce the grafting or try weaving in our mythograph into our moons. Yeah, so whatever you want to call it, a technique or drawing the Tangle Mythograph differently. So once we are done with that, now I'm just going to add some of these petal shapes just the way we had done in our mythograph. You need not all add it to all, just whichever way you feel like, just add, and then start adding the auras once again. So if you want, you can add more than one, like this. Yeah, so here we are inserting it in the moon, like this. Yeah, so you can do as many as you want, whatever direction you want. Just take your time, slowly add the next layer of aura. Right, so this is the third one, so yes, go ahead and add the third layer to all first. Yeah, so I think you got some idea. Now I'm going to add one more. So in the next layer again, you can add a few wherever you want to add. There's also a tangle called Fleavy. It is not a Zentangle original, but it is drawn in the same fashion, right? So you insert petal shapes every time you draw an aura. So you, instead of these kind of pointed shapes, you have nice petal-like shapes in between the auras. So that's another example of how you can do grafting, right? So you can also draw behind So you can take all kinds of liberty here. Just draw the way you wish to, right? So again, adding the next aura. The process remains the same as we do for crescent moon, just that here the moons have these auras which are kind of coming out, ripping apart. Yeah, you can also always consider them these auras kind of coming out. Or probably you can draw to get that kind of a look, you can draw it a little differently. For example, something like this. Yeah, probably. I'm just having fun here, and I want you to just get an idea and have fun with me how you can use this tangle differently. Use this technique with almost any tangle that has. So I think we have added, okay, right? We have added, I think, one layer to all. Now let's go to the next, or what we can do is add few more so that they kind of start intersecting. Yeah, so even that can be done. So I'm again going to add few more. So just add a few more of these petal shapes. Just have fun. Take your time. Yeah, so I think they have started to kind of intersect now. So don't cross lines, just stop where the lines start to intersect. I was just trying to connect them so that the in-between spaces are gone. Yeah. So let's take another example now of certain tangles that can, be using this technique. So next we can go with a tangle called sand swirl. Yeah. So again, started with a fescue kind of a shape, added an aura, and again this tangle has repeating auras. Yeah. So you can either keep the same shape or you can add some other shape. I don't know. Maybe we'll keep it same. But we can add some bit of ink inside. Yeah, just a small variation. Again, keep it same. The shape basically is the same, but I'm just adding some bit of inking there. And then you can again give it the same kind of a grafting feeling. This tangle is called sand swirl. It just has these repeating auras around the fescue. Yeah, since we will be adding all auras on that side, on one side, so I'm adding those spines also on one side. So you can add them here, here, whichever way you feel like. Yeah, and then just continue adding auras. Whichever way you feel like. Yeah. So let's add one or two more. So I'm going to add one more sand swirl here, just in the same way, the way we did the first one. Start adding auras, start adding these spines. Yeah. So I've started with one more. I think this would be the last one as far as sand swirl is concerned. Continuing in the same fashion. Adding these spines in between, grafted in the auras. So just take your time. Do that exercise throughout in the same fashion. Yeah. So we have drawn around 3 swan swirls, and now up to us. So if you want to add mythograph running through, you can do that, or you can add anything else. So let's see. It's all line work here, so let's add some drama. So I'm going to probably add some bit of drama by adding a touch of Marasu here. So as far as the last aura is concerned, I'm adding a thicker aura now, like this. Yes. So around my sand swirl, I'm now adding some bit of drama, and then the rest of the space we can add a filler tangle, right? So I've added a thicker aura, and now I'm just going to add some drama by inking the in-between spaces. So leave one space empty and go to the next, add a highlight and ink it. Yeah, something like this. Again, you can leave one space, go to the next, add a highlight, ink it. Again, leave one space. So this is just the way we do for the Tangle Marasu. And you can see the drama that it adds to your tile. A little extra ink there. Yes, and this space is left, so I will do it exactly in the same way. So try different tangles which have repeating auras, tangles like arukas. You can also try doing grafting there. I think it will work. Yeah. So I'm going to do the same for the rest also. So leave a small highlight in between and ink the rest in the same fashion as we did this one. So I have done that exercise for all my sand swirls. If you want some more examples, take the example of a simple tangle like Printemps, my go-to tangle. So you added one layer of aura, again add a spike, go back, again you can add a spike, again As you draw the auras, you can very comfortably insert these leafy shapes, spikes, whatever you want to call it. Graft these into the tangle very comfortably, right? So the idea is that when you are using repeating auras, you can very well use this mythograph technique tangle, right? So that becomes a different kind of a printemps. Yeah, so let's do that one more time. So draw one, again add some spikes here and there, again go back, again add some spikes here and there, again go back, repeat the aura, keep adding these in between, as many as you want, and then stop when you think they are sufficient. Yeah, so you can add as many. So let us draw one more here. So here the space is left, so I'm not going to extend it too much. Yeah, that's about it. I don't think we need to do anything else to this style. If you want, you can add some more bit of Bronx cheers or something like that. Some caviars. Yeah. So I hope you got an idea about what I was saying. So just placing some bit of caviars here and there. And that's about it. I don't think, if you want, you can add some more in between, extend the auras a little more, but that's again optional. If you want, you can fill up some more space by extending the auras a little more. I think that much is sufficient. Yeah. Yeah. So let us now shade our tile. Yeah, I'm going to stop tangling here and a little weight to this line where we started our sand swirl, the initial fescue shape. Yeah. So this is the place you add shading also as far as sand swirls are concerned, because the lines seem like going under. So slowly take your time, add the graphite carefully without turning your spines absolutely grey. Then comes our moons. So both ends of the moons, good idea to highlight. Add graphite so that you can highlight the center basically. Yeah. And then here on the Marasu, both ends of the white sections, So spaces are small, so you just have to touch the graphite. Don't really have to add much. No need to add on the blacks. Yeah, let's first blend this much and then we shall proceed further. So shading adds so much to your tile. And you realize that as you blend the graphite. And slight touch wherever spaces are small, just ensure that you don't blend too much. You just have to blur the graphite and do nothing else. Don't try to blend too much. Don't take it away from where it is, just blur it. At times what is already there on your stub is sufficient for that much work. You don't even have to use your graphite pencil. We have already added some highlights, so that helps. Right, now under these spikes you can add some bit of shadow wherever it is possible. I think it won't be possible everywhere, but wherever it is clear, standing out, you can add some darkness there underneath. Yeah, so take that time, go to each, see where it can be added, add that slight shadow. I think we are done with that. Coming to our spirals, again up to you, how do you want to shade it. So you can shade on one side probably and just leave the other. That would be easier. So when you're shading in Zentangle, it's not important where is the light source, where the shadow would be. Don't take all that pressure. Just shade the way you wish to. Right, so we are just adding a dimension without actually going too much into the rules. So keep the rule book aside and just go by your instincts. You can shade the same tangle differently every time, as I keep saying. Explore. Yeah. So now I think it's the time for chalk. Let's pick up our magic tool now. So starting first with the Marasu, add that shine running through. Take your time. Yeah, and the third one. So we have not added graphite here. Looks so empty if you don't add. Yeah, So just a bit of darkness is all that you require, but you do require it, yeah. You can't skip it. And then you can add some bit of highlights on your sand swirl. Wherever there is no graphite, you can add some highlights. Just find those spaces where you don't have graphite. Use a different blender. Just soften the chalk, make sure it is not patchy, blend it. Just adding shades in between, yeah. Make sure this portion is dark enough. You want to add a little more extra darkness, that's okay, you can. Yeah, so done with our sand swirls. Now comes our moon. So highlight the center, but again you need a little bit of shadow underneath, so use your pencil and add some shadow there. It will definitely show and it will look nice. Right, so I'm adding both at the same time, some bit of chalk and some bit of shadow. Like this. Yeah. So go ahead and do that for all. First you can add the chalk, the highlight, and then you can go back, add some bit of darkness there. And then just blend like this. Yeah, so I'll slowly do that for all. So I'm almost finishing doing the same exercise for all of my moons. First adding the graphite, the chalk, I'm sorry, and then adding some bit of graphite under these spines. And then just use a blender, different blenders, to just soften. Just touch the graphite, don't blend too much, just a shadow underneath is all you need. Yeah, and then last but not the least are your printemps. Do the same, highlight the other side. So here, if you don't want to go into shading the spines, you can just add some weight, highlight them a little more by redoing the lines, making them thicker. Yeah, so what I'm saying is you can just add some weight on one side and they will automatically pop up. Something like this. Yeah. Yeah. I think we don't need anything else. So what you can do is add some dots here and there, or you can just leave it as such. Just highlight the caviars. So dots like on the moon, for example, like this. If you think they are too black, then it's a good idea to add that small pops, dots, shimmer like this. Yeah. So I'm done with that exercise also. A small dot here on your fescue. You want, you can add some highlights here. And that's about it. Yeah. So let's close our tile here. I don't want to extend it more. I just wanted to give you an idea of how you can use that technique that we use for mythograph in a lot of other tangles. Right, so I'm just adding a little bit of extra darkness here because I think it adds, yeah, few places or all places the way you wish to. So it's always a good idea to revisit some lines after you have shaded. Just adds that extra depth. And I think we are sorted. Yeah. So don't forget to put in your chop, sign and date your tile. So I shall see you again with the last session on Tangle Mythograph. Till then, have a good time. Bye-bye.